All right, so this is recording Listen Next 762. Listen Next 762. So you can find me at ChristinaStacia918.com. You can find me on Spotify under Scorpio71. You can find me on Podbean. You can look up my podcast, which is this podcast, Speaking to the CIA. Each episode is titled Listen Next, and then a dash, and then, excuse me, a dash, and then the number. So you got the first 15, which I have like actually titled with descriptor titles. And then after the first 15, then you go to Listen Next 001 all the way up to now. Okay, so, those are all, the first 15 are also numbered in order also. So, okay, so, all right, so picking up here. Okay, so I'm going to first give you an example. I hate like clogging up my podcast, calling out Jean Roberts white peopling and the ways that she disrupts harmony and causes discord in the community by using illegal methods to spy, then clip, and then change and modify, and then spread lies in the community. Look here, look here, look here, look here. And then some stuff she just does, she just literally just like, she just like creates it from freaking scratch. And then does the same thing. And then some of it is to spread lies to make money with, and some of it is just to piss people off so she can be there to wipe their tears in the way that she does that. And I told you, Jean Jernigan Roberts is white. It's my dad's ex-girlfriend. She lives in Milton, Florida. But let me get off topic for a second because somebody wants me to say this before I forget it. I've already got it in my podcast. So, and then I'll get back to this. So, she said in my brain, she said that someone told me, I don't know if she told me herself or someone told me that I know she's from California because she told me herself she's from California. And she did that by taking the Formica table from where I ate the custard at on my next door neighbor, Mrs. Keegan, when I was little in grade school in Globe. Okay, I sat at the little Formica tables in the early 70s, and I would eat my custard, and I'd be like, this is so gross, I hate custard, but I would do it because I love Mrs. Keegan, and I love visiting with Mrs. Keegan. So anyway, she had a little Formica table, and then, also, remember I told you I swear on everything. I swear on everything because she looks exactly like her, unless it's another doppelganger and she ice raped a lady. And she did that, so I'd go back in time and go, you lived underneath us. You literally lived underneath us. And she did that to me twice in my life. So anyway, when we lived in Globe, this house in Globe, we lived at the top of East and Cottonwood. And our house was a regular, like, ranch-style house. But because it was at the top of a hill, there's like an opening underneath. So to balance the house out, whoever built the house created an apartment underneath it. So it was an apartment, and then above the apartment was our house, okay? So our house was like level to the ground, but like you drove down the driveway, drove down the ramp, and then that's where the carport was, and we had a sun deck over it. And then to the right was the door to the apartment. There was two doors to the apartment, one at the driveway, and then in the back there was one entrance from the backyard. Okay, so anyway, underneath me, in that apartment lived, I told you my dad was a store manager for AJ Bayless, which was a grocery store that was around Seattle Depot. She uses AJ Bayless and everything. And you can see, I mean, the obvious Bayless. She's using the San Francisco Bay, and I mean, you can, it just goes on and on and on. So and she uses AJ and as in King, Queen, Jack, Ace, and all that. So I mean, she puts it in everything. And plus, she likes trafficking babies, children, and adults with food. That's her thing. She's been doing it for 60 years. She'd like to continue doing it. And she just wants to just get away with it and continue funding terrorism. I mean, she is literally the leader of a satanic cult. So anyway, so she uses my dad's workplace in her Charles Manson demonic cipher. So AJ Bayless is in it's in everything. Okay. So, but when I look back on my memories, I have very fond memories of the grocery store AJ Bayless. I mean, I grew up with the AJ Bayless name in my life for the first 10, the 5, from age 5 to 11 years of my life, like my little grade school formative years. So anyway, so AJ Bayless is a very positive memory for me. So anyway, he was a store manager for AJ Bayless, and his coworker's name was Larry. And Larry also worked for AJ Bayless, and he was an assistant manager. She also used that, assistant manager AM. She was using that in her pre-planning to do the Oklahoma City bombing. That also goes to that too. So anyway, she likes, remember I told you she's a name collector, and she likes people with certain names, okay? So I told you she loves people named Peter. She loves people named Paul. She loves people named Michael. She loves people named Steve. She loves people named Timothy. She loves people named Jeff. And she loves people named Larry. And I told you in my previous podcast, I'm like, okay, I figure out with all these other names, what her deal is with these names. Most of it goes all the way back to the Holy Bible. And Jean Roberts is a leader of a satanic occult. And so she loves to attack biblical names or names out of the Holy Bible. Okay. And so she will suck the shit out of you if you have a name that she likes. So anyway, his name was Larry, and I told you, I was like, what is with Larry? And then I went through, and people are figuring out, and then I went through and decoded, and I'm like, oh my God. So even that, look, Larry under the house, Larry, a lair, she freaking did that. Oh my freaking God, she freaking did that too. So anyway, Larry had a girlfriend, okay? And Larry's girlfriend, I swear to God, was Jean Roberts. She looked exactly like Jean Roberts. She had long blonde frizzy hair, and that's who his girlfriend was. And my mom could not stand her. And I knew that growing up, my mom was the mom on, I swear to God, they modeled her after my mom. And mom was the mom on Friday. We're talking about Mrs. What's her name across the street, and that's literally what Jean Roberts thinks of herself. You know the lady across the street in Friday, and Ice Cube's mom. She says hi. I don't remember what Ice Cube's mom's name is. She's like hi, and then Ice Cube's mom is like hello. She's barely even sweat. She's like, okay. She's just it's so freaking funny because that's how my mom was when I was little with Larry's girlfriend. She was polite to her, but my mom was exactly like that. Okay. She could not stand her. Literally couldn't stand her. So anyway, and it wasn't because Jean thought that she was that. It was because, from what I can remember, I think it was because she was very, very nosy, I think is what it was. Okay. And I'm talking about the woman. Okay. But I look back in time, and I literally think that is Jean Roberts. I literally think that she like somehow like when we moved, because we moved from the valley to Tucson, and I went to kindergarten in Tucson at Los Ranchitos, and then we moved from Tucson into Globe, and when that happened, somehow I think she like followed my mom and stepdad along and routed herself the same route. However, she could have just been using a doppelganger and doing the same thing with another couple. So either way, I look back, is that her? Is that not her? Oh my God, she even did that with this freaking, ooh, see? You know that slogan, the cassette tapes, Memorex? Is that real or is that Memorex? And then Memorex. And Jean Roberts always calls herself a mermaid too. She's freaking disgusting. So anyway, so she did that to me on purpose. So either way, I look back, I get creeped out. I'm like, what the frick is going on? Did you really live underneath us? Are you freaking Larry's girlfriend? Or did you stalk that lady? And then so I look back and I'm like, ugh, freaking Jean, ugh. So anyway, she did that again to me later on, when we moved into the valley. We moved back into the valley and we lived on Emerald. And she did that to me again. To my surprise, she looked exactly like one of my friend's wives. She looked like she's controlling her speech. She looked like one of my friends' dad's wives. She looked so, and my friend, was like, since they know this is Emerald, I'm not going to say anything more for them. But anyway, because Jean will just run off and go try to mother and love them and everything else. Good God. But anyway, plus you probably can already figure it out by the recording. So anyway, there's like more. So she looks exactly like my friend's dad's, not her mom, it's her stepmom. I know who you're talking about. That's not her. That's a different lady. She was ice raping them. She was trying to trip you out. She was controlling and stalking them too. So anyway, it was so I go back and I look in time, and it's supposed to be the Emerald City and the Wizard of Oz, and you're supposed to trip out and creepy. So I look back and I'm like, what'd you freaking do? Follow us on to freaking Emerald? Why are you suddenly dating this guy? Like, who are you? Why are you stalking me? So she looks exactly the same freaking way. And then fast forward, and then next thing you know, there she is. Surprise! I'm dating your dad. So anyway, so she's literally like stalking me. So like with Larry's girlfriend, so Larry, I went into his apartment underneath me like a couple of times. I went to go visit them. When I was a kid, I freaking went everywhere. I cruised the whole city of Globe. I went everywhere. But anyways, I went downstairs a couple of times to visit them, and Larry's apartment was like empty, except for like, from what I can remember, it was empty. I mean, this is the 70s and these were young guys, and what was cool in the early 70s, music and weed and working, like, I mean, they were old enough to be working, but I mean, what it was like in the 70s. But anyway, so I went down there. Larry's got his 8-track out, and he's got his Kiss, he's got his 8-track player out, and he's got his Kiss 8-track, and he was freaking obsessed with Kiss. And that was the first time I ever saw the band Kiss, looking at the 8-tracks, and it scared the living holy freaking crap out of it. Like, I was looking at the 8-track and this band, and I'm like, I felt like I was just like looking at Satan themselves. Like, I was like, and I was like, oh my God. And then he's like playing Kiss on the 8-track. So anyway, they like literally like scared the freaking heck out of me. So again, she pre-planned that icing Larry, because then how Jean Roberts uses Betsy Ross XO and all that. And so she's bragging about being Leo Charles Manson, and she's like controlling all you and icing you. So that's people talking through me. So anyway, so I decoding the 8-track player and I decode all of that. And then that's future links and extra missing pieces that she used in her pre-planning to do the World Trade Center attack. And I also am able to decode it using it and figuring out the terrorism. And you ever see all the decoded ciphers with trains, okay? So trains in her predecessors before her used trains as a theme for terrorism, okay? And it's even in Childhood Rhymes, which I told you, I even decoded the engine number 9, something on the Chicago line. And then even that, look, Kiss. And then you went to Chicago in 1986. Well, but that was in later 70s, but still 76 to 86, that's X and XO. And then Globe, the O, Globe, the world. So anyway, so what was I going to say with this? So anyway, I thought it was her. She's breaking my train of thought, so I can't talk and like make reports against her stalker. But so anyway, so I'm like, what does Larry mean, and who is Larry, and like, is that really her? So one time I go in there and she's like, you want to come in? She's like the freaking Wicked Witch, but she's blonde. She's the one that does that, because then she wants to go rescue them. That's why she sticks everybody in freaking hippie clothes and stuff like that. Because there's people that have been underground. There's draft dodgers that have been underground this whole time. And I told you I consider them also POWs. And she wants to she lured them in the 60s with her Manson occult. Lured them in underground a long, long time ago, and some of them are literally stuck underground, and they've been stuck underground this whole time. And she likes to taunt them by dressing the way, and having young women dress the way. That's why she puts the overlays of the whatever, because there's no telling what she's really doing on her end, which means she's probably doing a mock-up, and she's probably changing who you are or whatever, and then doing CGI and putting crap in their freaking brain. So anyway, she wants to go be the rescuer of them, is what she wants to do. And some of the POWs I talked to don't want anything to do with fucking Gene Roberts. But anyway, so there's a lot of, stop controlling my speech. So anyway, she's like the Wicked Witch. Like, I can remember like going in. She's like, do you want to come in? And I go in through my backyard to the back door entrance. And she like opens the door, and it's a real teeny tiny kitchen, and it's bright yellow filled with sunlight. And I'm like standing at her, and I'm like, I'm tiny. I'm like in first or second grade, and I'm like tiny. I'm like, and she's sitting at the table across from me, because she's also doing a future sign of where she self-appoints herself as some kind of fucking judge or keeper of your life, is what she's doing there. And then she's like putting her glasses down at you, and then she's like got all the magic answers that feed all the pervs. She tells a bunch of lies about me, and it feeds all her fucking scumbags, which is what she does every second of the freaking day, run her little fucking thing. Anyway, so she's like looking at me, and it's like bright sunlight. And so she puts that in my brain like constantly. Well, that table that she was sitting at was a Formica table. So she sends me this text when I lived in Slidell, and she sends me this text, and she tells me that she wants me to come over and visit her in Milton, Florida. Now she lives in Milton, Florida. She was to come over and visit her in Milton, Florida, and she's been dating my dad for several years at this point. And I have no idea that I just met Satan. And then she and her occult have been stalking me their entire lives. So anyway, she invites me to go over to Milton, Florida to go visit her. But anyway, so she tells me in a text message, she's like real sneaky about it. She tells me how she got a brand new kitchen table. She's trying to creep me out, okay? So she tells me she's got a brand new kitchen table. And then she goes, in the text message to me, she goes, "It's for Micah." All freaking excited. And then she has her people having me focus on the "It's for Micah" message in my phone and my text messages and rearrange the letters, study the letters until I see the letters moving around. And she's telling me that she's from California. So she used the "For Micah" table and then also the table setting and all that. Like, she's basically, oh my God. So she's basically saying she's from California. So anyway, she is a true leader, Charles Manson. She always has been. You can go through everything on Charles Manson. Like, I don't need to like go through everything a million times. You have my old podcast, you already know. So anyway, I know she lived in California. I know she migrated to Florida. She tells everybody that she lived in Florida all her life, and until she went to school in Denver, but she's always lived in Florida. When I know she lived in California and she migrated to Florida. Now, when I lived in Oklahoma City, I was like, where did she live? I'm like asking people in my brain. I'm like, where did she live in California? Where's she from in California? And someone said, either someone told me where she said she's from or she told me where she said she's from. Because sometimes she tells me and sometimes someone else will tell me. And because she likes to like brag about stuff. And sometimes she'll openly admit and brag about crimes that she's committed and tell me that she's going to get away with it. And then the other rest of the time, she flat out lies. So I don't know if this is true or not. But she said she was from Sonoma, California, is where she said she's from. And that's wine country. And so I'm like, she's from freaking Sonoma. And that's what everybody was like on my range. She said she's from Sonoma. You know why she is the one who said she's from freaking Sonoma? Because of her goddamn freaking I love me some Drum Major freaking wine bottle. So she said she's originally from Sonoma, California, is what she said. And then I'm like trying to ask and find out, how'd she freaking get to Florida? How did she get to Florida? And so anyway, I decoded like parts of her journey, and parts of her journey, like she pre-planned it before I was born. She pre-planned and she went through Texas, Tex Watson's and Charles Manson. She pre-planned going through Texas. She's real obsessed with Texas too. And then routed herself into Florida and then got herself arranged into jobs in New Orleans. And she thinks she's Mrs. New Orleans, and she's not. And New Orleans told her, get your ass out. Any property you have there, you're losing, Gene Roberts. But she literally thinks she's Mrs. freaking New Orleans. So anyway, so somebody wanted me to bring that up about her saying she's from Sonoma. Okay, so there's a whole bunch going on there. And if you follow through Christina's podcast, you'll be able to easily pick up on all the stuff that's missing that we need to stop. So anyway, okay, so where was I even at with this? So I was talking about AJ Bayless, and I was talking about her. Oh, so Leary. So when I get to Slidell, I end up talking to this guy, and he's really freaking mean. Like, there are some real freaking expletive heads that I talk to in mental telepathy. Real freaking mean. But you can imagine, okay, first of all, you have her Manson occult who are like, this is it. This is finally it. This is where Christina falls down the rabbit hole and we get away with everything. And they've been waiting for it as long as I've been alive. Okay. So they're like, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. And it's like that still with, well, not so much anymore. A lot of them bail, like, no, 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 no. But like Jean still tries to get people like rubbed up, but nobody is as thirsty to get away with it as Jean and the people at the top of Jean Roberts' occult. So you've got those people, they're meaner than shit, they're sicker than shit, they're depraved. Then you have all the people that Jean Roberts had on that she wired in, that she was trying to con and hustle in the very beginning. Okay, and so she lied to the military, she lied to intelligence, she had some of her Manson occult posing as intelligence, so that they had already snuck and woven their way into the intelligence world, all waiting for this to all like start crumbling down until it ends in what Jean Roberts has always planned for with her Manson occult, and that is the destruction of the United States of America, crashing the government. So anyway, step one is I find out that Jean Roberts and their Manson occult did the World Trade Center attack, but I don't find out like that. I literally decode my whole life. And then I try to figure out who is the one that did the real World Trade Center attack, because what I'm decoding couldn't have been the Middle East at all. Like, it couldn't have been, and then like when I'm continuing to decode, it couldn't have been anybody that was Spanish. It couldn't have been anybody that was African American. It couldn't have been not the way that all this decode and all this ciphers is. And then the more that it links, like I decode the ciphers, and then the memories in my life are all based around, and then I start decoding memories, and then I start realizing she's been stalking me all my life. But I'm like, who is this? So like I'm like going through this, and I'm like, I go through this whole decode journey. So I'm like, is it the Ku Klux Klan? Is it the police? I'm going through anybody and everybody. Like, who freaking did this? So I've got like all the pieces of it. Well, I don't have all the pieces of it yet. I have a few parts here and there, but I'm so much in decoding history. All the Manson super. I had a few pieces of Manson, but all the super Manson stuff, I didn't decode till a little bit later. Like, the more adept I got at decoding, the more adept I got at decoding. So I had the clues to know that it was Manson, but I wasn't picking that up yet, because whoever thinks of freaking Charles Manson? It's an occult from the 60s. So anyway, so I'm like decode. And so her ambition there was for me to find out that the United States, and this is what she still sells out on the street today, that the United States did the World Trade Center attack. When you look at it from every other nation's point of view besides the United States did do the World Trade Center attack, but they know she had them thinking, she lied to them, and she lied to military, and she lied to intelligence, she lied to police. She wanted to run this huge con and had them thinking that the United States, the military did it. And then some people thought that my family did it. Okay, she was lying to people and telling them that my family did it. My family didn't do it. The military didn't do it. Jean Robertson or Charles Manson occult did it. But you can imagine, and then the lies she told that went with it. Okay, so you can imagine at this point in time, I get like blindsided. I get hit with like a semi-truck. I am like beside myself, like finding out that the World Trade Center attack was done here in the United States. I'm in the trail trying to find out who freaking did it. Jean is on the other end, my dad's freaking girlfriend, who's the one who really did it, and out hustling people and stealing people's money and selling them freaking bags of freaking lies and sob story lie ass fucking shit. Just like, give me your money and this and that, and just like, and we're gonna do this and then we're gonna do that, and oh my god, we just want to save the children. We just feel so sorry for everybody. And you're the one who fucking did it. So anyway, she's got this whole con gag running. Okay, so you can imagine emotions were very, very high at that time frame, because you can imagine all the military and officers and intelligence that she leaked in early on, that she had just shoveled them just pure manure. And again, I told you she commits terrorism using poop and pee. This is funny to her. So she's just shoveling freaking shit at them. And they don't know. They're literally being lied to. Her people are so skilled at lying. They don't know they're being lied to. Nobody knows they're being lied to. She's hustling them. So anyway, you can imagine at that point, the anger and the rage that was first coming out of the United States government and people in the United States government that went through those wars that Jean also caused because she did the World Trade Center attack. And like I was told by leaders in the Middle East, they consider that a bi-coastal terror attack because, and it was committed by Jean Roberts and her Manson occult. Because it's not just, everybody just thinks of the World Trade Center attack and then the wars after that, but they don't, you need to look at the wars as also another terror attack. You know, it's not just United States soldiers, and I love United States soldiers. My son is a United States soldier. He served in the Afghanistan war, and that's one of the wars that followed, and it kills me. Like, it kills me inside. Like, oh my God. And the Middle East, they're always on with me, and they're like, you know, Jean's going to go to jail. Jean is a psychopath. Jean is going to go to jail. But to know our soldiers died, but I mean, everybody's soldiers died. Every civilians died. There are so many people that died. So just counting the attack itself and the numbers and the loss and the future continued loss, because people developed diseases and handicaps and everything else, and then all of the loss around the world. And then she pulled in and she used soldiers. No, not she. Jean, you refer to yourself as the United States government again. I swear to freaking God. The United States, she's controlling overseas, but the United States government, you know, it's war. So, I mean, they pull in soldiers from multiple nations. So now you're talking loss of life from multiple nations. Jean killed thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people. And they consider it a bi-coastal terror attack. And the terror attack was committed by Jean Roberts, the woman who committed stolen valor in the Navy, who is a stolen valor Navy captain, her and her Manson occult. So they didn't know any of this then, but they know it now. And then they got fed it's the Illuminati, which Jean still tries to pull that. Cause Illuminati, it's Illuminati, it's Illuminati. Nothing to see here. That's Illuminati. Because she hides under the Illuminati. No, it was you and your Charles Manson occult, Jean. So she's always got an excuse and a lie for everything. And Jean just runs around free, being worshipped and armed with now ballistics and running a hostage racket and stolen artificial intelligence she's had for 60 years that she ripped off in the Charles Manson murders, because that was a part of her committing those murders. Some of those victims were chosen. Like I told you, some of them were chosen. She chose them because of their proprietary ties to artificial intelligence. She wanted to steal. She stole artificial intelligence. So today, present day, she's running around with her whole cock and bull, cockamamie scheme. And if you go at her, she'll tell you a bunch of different lies and swing in a bunch of different directions. Like, she can't even swing it. That probably goes with her baseball Ponzi too. But anyway, like, it's everybody else's fault, and she doesn't know what anybody's talking about, blah, blah, just let her run her frickin' Save a Child campaign. You're a fucking perp, Jean. You're a terrorist. Even have to contend with her criminal ass is insane. And she's got access to artificial intelligence, and now she wants to break down the government. So why are we letting her do this? Why am I not witness protection, and why is she not arrested? This is freaking insane. So anyway, okay, so I'm like getting back to like where I was with this, with the, and I mean, anybody, a million people could come back at me and go, Christina, you're lying. No, Christina, you're wrong. No, Christina, you're wrong. No, Christina, you're lying. Bet me. Get on my podcast. If you're calling me a liar, first of all, I know you're a criminal. Because people that know I'm not lying do one thing. They say, I don't want to talk about it, or they give me a hard time, or they go, Christina, you're crazy, which means opposite. Christina, you are smart. You have very much figured it out. Is Jean Roberts in her Manson occult. So she's running a hostage racket. She threatens the police. She threatens intelligence, but she's running whole hijinks. From even that, her freaking doing that hijack to hijinks. So anyway, okay, so, and then she's probably doing that thinking she's freaking cute. Remember that little saying with the Coke? Jinx, you owe me a Coke. She probably freaking did that too. And you know, Coke is from Georgia, which is where one of the leading places is for Illuminati with the Guidestones, and then also Denver, Colorado, underneath the Denver airport. So she's probably like trying to be cute, going, haha, I'm so freaking cute. I'm Jean the Third. I'm a Viking. And Jinx, show me a Coke. Like she's going to get the heck away with everything. I mean, she is about the stupidest person in the planet. I bet you she freaking did do that. So anyway, okay, so I wanted to explain a lot about the Sonoma to you, and then Larry, because, oh yeah, I was getting ready to tell you about the intelligence. I keep losing my train of thought because she keeps getting me off her train of thought. So anyway, I end up talking to one of these guys. He's real freaking mean. Like in my brain, he's like, "Argh." So it's like talking to like somebody that is like real rough around the edges, like real rough. He's just like, "Argh." And then I talked to a couple other people that were like the same way, and they were on witnessing everything Jean was trying to pull, and they were people that were in her Manson occult or Zodiac killers. They're her Manson occult, and they're paid to do her jobs. Okay, and so they're like, they're just like real hard people. So anyway, the longer that this goes on, this is while I'm in Slidell, they start to melt a little bit. Like it's getting to them. And so then it starts angering them. Then it starts pissing them off because the more they find out, the more that they find out, because they didn't know anything, Jean was hiding everything from them. So the more they find out how guilty Jean is and how Jean thinks she's going to get away with everything and all the lies she's ever told everyone over the past 60 years to try to pull this off, the madder they were getting. So it started like melting them a little bit. So one of the guys I talked to, he literally told me his name was Larry. It was freaking funny. And I'm like, in my brain, and I'm like, are you a cop? And he's like, let me see what he said. I'm like, because I'm like, who is in my brain talking to me? I'm like, are you a cop or, and he's like, no. And I'm like, and I'm in the middle of decoding and they're witnessing, and he's like, no. And I'm like, are you like in the FBI? Are you like in intelligence? Are you like in FBI or CIA? And he told me he was in the CIA. I think he told me he was in the CIA. And so I was like, you're in this, like, I thought of him as like Intel. So I started calling him Larry CIA. So anyway, he would tell me, don't talk to me. And I'm like, are you Larry that lived under my house? Cause I'm like, there's a Larry that lived under my house in Globe. Are you him? And he wouldn't freaking answer. And there were a couple of people that would go on. Some of the henchmen guys would interchange who Larry is, and different people would step into Larry's role. So it was always like I was talking to Larry that lived under the house, but it'd be actual different people coming on using the name Larry. And then they would be showing me different things about Globe that they also decoded that they could see. So they're like henchmen, and henchmen are like, I named them, they're like defected, self-defected, or not self-defected, they're still roped into Jean's shit. They've been killers for her for 60 years, like assassins, but like, because she paid assassins to follow me and stalk me all my life. So they're like They're just tired and burnt out of Gene's shit. They just want Gene arrested. They just want this over with. And some of them are like, they want this all over with. Like, they don't care who dies, just fucking end the shit. Like, they're at that point. And then some of them are like, you know, they really want Gene Roberts to be arrested. They want to see me get into witness protection program and get a new life. And they want things to go the right way because they don't want that on their soul. You know, the crimes that Gene has committed, they want to make it right. Like, they want to fix what they can fix from where they can fix. So anyway, other henchmen are just like, they just don't give a crap. Like, they're just like, they're over it. Like, they're so burnt out. And they're very blunt with me, which I appreciate honesty. I'm so sick. Like, Gene, all she does is lie. But they're very honest. Like, some of them are like, we're here because we're paid to stalk you until you die. And some people have told me they don't care. They don't care if you die because then that sets them free. They don't care. There's probably a payout for them at the end or something like that. Other guys that are like that don't care. New ones that she recruits. But those would be henchmen. Those would be Charles Manson Zodiac killers. But the henchmen, started calling them henchmen because Gene was putting people in my brain and mental telepathy. She operates in mental telepathy like a cue. So if you look at, I don't know how to explain this. So look at it like, visualize a computer screen, and I'm just using a diagram example of what this is like. So visualize a computer screen, a chat room computer screen. Okay, and so you've got your main window, which is the chat room, and then you have another window pane, which is all the list of names of people in the chat room, okay? And then in a regular chat room, all those people are in the big window and they're all chatting, la, 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 la. Okay, I'm changing the schematic of this. So imagine the big window being my brain space, mental telepathy, the arena of my physical consciousness where everybody goes to talk in. And whether they're in a brain membrane or cell where I can hear them or can't hear them. Okay, you have to go through my podcast to go through all the ins and outs of AI. So anyway, so it's like the big area of my brain, my frontal temporal lobe, where all the consciousness activity goes on, where everybody's like, la 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 la, you know, like throw voices all over the. Okay, so anyway, so the chat pane where you have all the little chat names. Okay, change that to a queue, like you're going to the bank, and you know that little freaking the money thing that you stick in, the little thing, the vacuum suction thing, and it sucks it up. Okay, imagine that with the suction going down. Okay, that's the kind of queue that is. So people sign on into AI, and they load in. Gina's built this queue. So all these people go, and they've all got AI IPs. They've got AI names, and they go into this queue, and the people that are most active, and my brain, active consciousness, can only handle so many people at once talking, and the numbers can be changed on it, but she's got it all locked down, running her little heart, her last, I'm gonna get away with my fucking shit, trying to tear the shit out of everyone and make it a bitch. Stop fucking trying to protect your damn people. She's trying to throw overlays of people. So anyway, so it's like a queue. So it comes down, and then they kick on. Okay, so their status and they're active in my brain. So then their job is to do what she said: torture the hell out of Christina, make up lies, white people, do whatever the hell you freaking want, but make sure you're torturing Christina, and that includes the mental, the blah, 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 in my brain constantly. And that includes physical torture, which is electrocution of my brain or electrocution of my body or assaulting my body. It includes all this different stuff. So just keep doing it on your whole shit. And they're on for shifts for 8 to 10 hours at a time. Okay. So anyway, this is the deal. Some of those guys will load up just to get into my brain. They're like, I want to get in here. Christina's decoding. I want to see what she's decoding. So you can see through my eyes. So like whatever I see in front of my eyes, you can see. So everybody's like, put me in there, put me in there. So it's filled with their Zodiac killers, and then it's all filled with people that Jean is trying to combat. She clips and stitch. She limits what they can see, and she clips and stitch and feeds them freaking line of crap and and then there's other people that are like, put me in this. I want to know what's going on. Put me in here. So give me the AI hookup to Christina's brain. You can even like call. Some people have my IP of my main one that everybody was using, the IP of my brain. It ported into a phone number. You can literally dial a phone number on your cell phone, and you can literally activate yourself in my brain. So like if they want to hear what I'm saying, they can literally like call my brain on a phone. It's insane. So in Hollywood, there's people in Hollywood that are able to do that. So they probably still do that. So anyway, so the Zodiac killers, these assassins or whatever, and they're like working for Jean and supposed to be doing what she freaking says. They're just tired, and they're just like, they're over, and they really want to kill Jean. So they go on, and then I ended up talking to them. So like Larry would have been one of them, like these different people. So I would have been talking to them, and then they started to like warm up and started to like break down, because it's like insane the levels of crime that Jean has committed, and the way that she has deceived and destroyed is insane. And it's angering, and it makes you cry. And then watching the abuse, and then being forced to be a part of the abuse and the torture on me, which is undeserved, when Jean should be arrested immediately and electrocuted. It's killing them. But like, they're real hardcore people. So it's like, you know, so this is some of the deals that they made, and this is when I was in Oklahoma City, and they said, and they were already on with me in Slidell. They're with me wherever I go. This is till the end, wherever I go. Because if you've been involved in Jean Roberts Manson occult, and you're one of her assassins that's been on, a Zodiac killer has been on since the very beginning for 60 freaking years. Well, 60 with her, but I mean, I was born in 71, like all my life. Like, you're not letting go for shit. Probably, especially now, knowing that I have a podcast. Like, one way or another, this is gonna freaking end. Electrocute. Jean Roberts needs to be arrested and obviously electrocuted. So anyway, so they would go on in my brain, and they'd be doing all their stuff, and then I could sense in my brain they would be doing like real stupid shit, like they were tired of doing like what Jean was saying. I just learned to like tune it out. But they would do like stupid like shit, like I don't know, like they would just do something like stupid in my brain that would make me go, you're supposed to be like the meanest killer, and these are mean killers. These are killers. But you're doing something like haphazard because they're trying to signal, and they can't signal because it's all supposed to be in silent. So then I just was like, I realized if I just talked to them directly and asked them directly what's going on, they would honestly answer me back. Now, not everybody is like that today. It's mostly all Jean Roberts and her criminals are like, woo, 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 woo. Jean's running her thing. Jean's got her thing going on. Call Jean. You get what you want. And people flock to her. Flock to her. It's freaking insane how many sickos there are out there. So anyway, really bad people. And they all help Jean. They run around committing terrorism for her. They ice rape people. They do all kind of nasty stuff. And then you still have like all like everyone else, but they're mostly silent and quiet. As long as they have access to my podcast to find out like what's going on with current event, because they don't have any of that, and all they get is lied to by Jean. They leave me alone. They're pretty much happy. Other than that, they start like, they'll do stupid shit like I'll feel something like I'll feel something like they'll just do something stupid, and I'll be like, okay. So anyway, so they would go on and they would be in active conscience. They would do something stupid like to indicate they're burnt out on this. So then I'm like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna refer to you guys as henchmen because you're not a good guy. You're really a bad guy caught in a bad situation and you just want out of it. No, I'm not talking about any of your sickos, Gene. I'm talking about actual freaking Zodiac kill. I'm not talking about any of Gene's goddamn perverts. They're all the ones that would freaking lick her fucking calf sweat. They'd do it fucking anything for Gene because Gene feeds them what they want and pays them. So anyway, and they'll run around tooting her horn and Gene the Third, you're the greatest, oh my God, you're so glorious. They grape and fan her and worship the shit out of her because she gives them everything they freaking want. So I'm talking about like regular hard freaking killers, okay? So anyway, I'm like, all right, so I'm just going to call you a henchman and then I'm going to say henchmen fall off. So what I'm saying is when they roll into the queue to go on to start on the attack, they will signal that they're on, and then I'll let them, like, in my brain, rah, 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 and then I'll go henchmen fall off. And then they fall off, and then they don't attack me anymore. They're just in the room, in my brain, and then sometimes they go talk to celebrities will go on, and people will go talk to them. They'll just go off, go doing their thing. They're not bound to attacking me anymore. Some of them go off and take off, and then some of them will go off for like 15 minutes and they start back up their shit again, and then I'll be like, henchmen fall off, and then they fall off again, and it's a repeated cycle. And they're like, man, when I got to Oklahoma City, they're like, man, I wish you would have figured this out a long time ago, referring back to me and Slidell. And they're like, you could have been like not being attacked like all freaking day long if you would have just figured out this little method back in Slidell, because they don't want to be attacking me. She's forcing them to. She tells all her people, I want Christina's in external environment 24/7, which means in order to attack Christina, who is she attacking? She's attacking the environment. Who's in the environment? Human beings. So in order to attack me, she's attacking every human being there is, everywhere. Because as long as it goes through my eyes, or I see it, or I'm around it, and it affects me, she gets a jolly. So it doesn't even matter where it is in the world, okay? She will attack anybody and everybody because she has me ordered and attacked in my external environment 24 hours a day, every second of the day. And she says, she has another order where she says, do that inside, attack me in my brain every second of the day, 24 hours a day. And she's got, that's what I call her and Ackright. They're the two freaking leaders of that, Gene Roberts and Ackright, and the rest of her top Manson women. They run all that. So it's every second of the freaking day. And this has been like going on for like 10 years now with the mental telepathy and all of her. And so she's like, she wants constant like boom, boom, boom on my body and my brain. And she abuses like my body and everything else. So anyway, so the henchmen are like good guys, but they're not good guys. They're like people that are just like, they're good in this situation. Like they're trying to do the best with what, the situation is. But so Larry, so he was like, so I'm like, I just started calling him. So I'm like, I told him one day, I was like, do you know people? I'm like, are you in the CIA? He's like, no, because I kept thinking he was CIA and he wouldn't freaking answer. And it's probably because she was listening in. And then later on, he goes, I'm like, do you know people in the CIA? And then he goes, yeah, I know a lot of people in the CIA. I've gotten to know a lot of people. And then, but you're not in the CIA. And then he's like, no, and then I'm like, because this is after we kind of got to like become friends in my brain. And so then I'm like, is there a way that you can contact the people that you know? And he's like, I'll do what I can, but I can't promise anything. And that's what it always is. And then, I'm like, we've got, this is, Gene Roberts has got to be stopped. This is insanity. She can't sit there and attack my brain and body and run her freaking hijinks and get away with committing terrorism and child trafficking rings. She cannot get away with this shit. She needs to be executed. So anyway, I'm just gonna call you Larry CIA is what I'm gonna call. So that's literally what I call the guy on my brain, Larry CIA, and he hardly ever talks. But that's literally what I call him, is Larry CIA. That's his nickname. So anyway, which with what some of the henchmen have done, just being so like. Just being just like that, like true to God, like just like the roughest people you could meet, and trying to do the best in obscene, horrific circumstances under horrific order by Gene Robertson or Manson Occult, and managing to come up with this whole henchman thing. So I could call them off. So I'm not like they're high caliber people. Their character is high caliber people. So, I mean, it's exactly someone that you would want on a secret team working with you somewhere in the United States government, like, because they did everything they could freaking do. You know what I mean? Now, all the sickos and the perverts and Gene's nasty little MFers, the little freaking weasels, they're freaking disgusting. That's all Gene Robertson are pervs. They're sick. They're gonna all be killed probably. So anyway, so okay, so let me get back to this. So okay, so I hate bringing up, so let me go back to the beginning where I got off here, but let me talking about the let me go back to the beginning of this. So I hate clogging up podcasts with calling out Gene Robertson or Charles Manson to call out white peopling. And you know what white peopling is. Gene Roberts is white. She goes and makes up lies and spreads it to gullible, mean, cruel, naive white people. And she's very, like, precise with who she's lying to, because she's not going to deal with you unless she's already icing you, or unless she could get something out of you. You know, she's obsessed with family lines. She's obsessed with business. She wants everything. So unless there's something that you have that she can't get out of you, you know someone that she wants to get at. So anyway, she goes and spreads lies to them, and then she convinces them with her sob stories to go spread lies to everybody else. So it's white people spreading lies, and then it ends up getting spread to brown and black people, and then she works them from like either angle, like, and then she uses AI CGI pretending to be brown and black, and she does this in AI, and she does this in schematics on the street. She also white people's up high in the government. So it's very, very bad behavior that she's doing it. She's not being a dumb white person. She's diabolical. She's doing it on purpose. She's purposely trying to hurt people so she can be the puppet master to try to control the people that she's hurt. Okay? So you can't walk around with your emotions on your sleeve with her, because that's why her alias is Betsy Ross XO. That's what she goes for first, is the emotion. It's like a predator smelling weakness. Okay? So that's what she goes for, is the emotion and working people's emotion over. So she uses a whole lot of white peopling because she wants to get everybody upset, because her whole thing is she's the leader of Charles Manson. She wants to break the government, so she needs upheaval, she needs anger. So you need to know when you're being worked over, and people aren't experienced or adept at dealing with, people are experienced with, they're not experienced with dealing with this. People are experienced with dealing with this, but not at diabolical levels. Like, I can't believe you. It's like literally, Gene Roberts literally is Ku Klux Klan. She will say any freaking thing. She will tell any freaking lie to get away with. Hi there. Hi, Gina. She will tell any freaking lie to get away with any little thing, or to try to hustle any person, not little person, to try to hustle people, and she will work you over. And it's not amazing. She is like, the way that she is like, it's mind blowing watching how diabolical she is at people, and people fall prey to it. And so you cannot fall prey to it. So anyway, so she pulled a white peopling stunt last week. Okay. So this is what she did. So she wanted to get revenge. She knew that I had just decoded Egypt. I think I already talked to you guys about this. She had just decoded. I'm Christina. I had just decoded Egypt. Quit trying to talk through me, Jean. So I just got done decoding Egypt, and I was getting it had on my phone. I was getting ready to do a podcast. And then someone was talking through my mouth at lunch. I was at lunch, and someone was talking through my mouth at lunch, and I could tell it was African American. And they can see, African Americans can see on my phone like everyone else can. There's like a good group of people that has access to my phone that have it hacked, and then there is a bad group of people that has it hacked, and that would be Gene Roberts' people and her Manson occult. So anyway, people are like, they're waiting for these recordings now. So Jean is waiting for these recordings because she wants to go hustle people, but everybody else is like, no, we want your exact podcast because we want to go talk to the United States government. And some people don't get access to all my podcasts. I don't know how it works. I'm right online. You go to ChristinaStation918.com. I don't know how people are getting funneled pieces and parts of my podcast. But I mean, you go right online, you have all my podcasts, all recordings. So anyway, I was at lunch and I started decoding. Hello, Ashley. I started decoding. I was in my car at lunch and I started decoding, which is what this podcast is about, ready to be about, more of crimes that she's committed in history. But anyway, but I was looking, people don't normally see me at lunch decoding crimes. I try not to, because the environment is uncontrolled if I'm outside sitting in my car. And Gina's hustled every Tom, Dick, and Harry there is out there. She's got people out thinking they're freaking cops for the FBI, and they're running around with freaking Cracker Jack freaking toy badges, working for the Ku Klux Klan and don't realize it. She tried to hustle a lot of people, which I know you know. Okay, so it's like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So anyway, so I was like, and I just got done decoding Egypt the day before, but it was on my phone. This, what you're getting ready to do, was coming up soon. She was getting ready. She was you had decoded, you were in between recordings, and she was getting revenge is what she was doing. And she was getting revenge on me, knowing that she stopped a parade in New Orleans when I lived in New Orleans, is what she was doing. So somebody in my brain popped off at her, and Black people yell at her all the freaking time, because she lies to people and says that she's brown and Black, and she's a Caucasian, she's Ku Klux Klan, she uses CGI, she uses all kinds of everything to lie to them. And some people, unfortunately, have been fooled by it, but now we're not so much fooled anymore. But sometimes they go on in my brain and they literally like tell her off. So they were telling her off over Egypt, because Egypt came on in my brain the night before and was like, this is amazing. This is really cool. They were like they were doing like really cool things in my brain. And they're like, this is awesome for tourism industry. People love Egypt and going out and discovering. And everybody that was listening was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And they went off researching right away. And they were like, this is amazing for tourism. Well, Jean, honky tonk, Mrs. Fake Cop, got all pissed off and then started white peopling over Egypt and started trying to act like people were mad about me decoding parts of Egypt and was going to go out and raise a ruckus. So it's basically, she's throwing a freaking fit. So in order to get this done, she pretends to be people that she's not, and then she lies to people that she's not, and she spreads all these lies freaking everywhere. And then she said, oh my gosh, I'm losing my train of thought here. She says something about, like, I don't remember what she said. She said something like, it was somebody was saying something in my brain calling her out. They were like, you think you're the, they said basically, you think you're the queen of the Nile. And they were popping off through my mouth. They're like, tearing her out. So then people on her end, the white peoplers, and they tell me they get away with white people and they can do what they want. Old ass white fuckers, Gene Roberts and her goddamn Mansonical. And so they're like, oh my God, there's like manna from heaven. We just got told off. You know how easy that is to flip around? So she flipped around her getting cussed out by African Americans through talking through me at her. She flipped it around and acted like she was a black person. And then she acted like I was saying that about a black person. And then she had spread it freaking everywhere. She had white people like freaking crazy. And I'm like, oh my God, with the freaking stupidity. And it all links to her getting revenge over this parade that she stopped in New Orleans. And then she was getting, because I was crying also because Reverend Jesse Jackson passed away. And I was crying. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he passed away. And I was watching Second Line Parade, Second Line dancing, and it was making me cry. And I actually have a Second Line hat from Second Line Parades that I got in New Orleans. And so Gene Roberts decided to get revenge. I don't know what you're getting revenge at me for. You stopped a parade. Do you know who knows you stopped that parade? All of Black America. Like, who are you fucking fooling, bitch? Like, what, like, they're pissed at her. Like, they're really fucking pissed. Like, who do you think you fucking are coming into our freaking city from Milton, Florida, and you want to pull freaking stunts acting like you're some freaking Navy captain badass, and then you ice our people, and then you stop a New Orleans parade for your own selfish freaking ass? You literally stop a freaking parade? You think you're all that, Gene fucking Roberts? So no, people have been pissed off about that in New Orleans for a really long time. So she wanted to get revenge, acting like she was hot shit. And she's gonna just get the fuck away with it. So it's all a revenge attack. It's like, it's stupidity that I have to deal with. Like, fucking arrest a Ku Klux Klan whore. So anyway, okay. So that is all white peopling stunt, and then more background on the where I lived and everything else, and Globe, Larry CIA, and all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this recording, and then I'm going to start talking. I'm going to pick up again, and I'm going to talk about more crimes that she committed in the past. Okay, and I'm going to decode through that. So I'm going to end this one right here.